Hi guys, good morning. Hope you're all doing well. Happy Wednesday. I'm going to show you lots of different ways to make your own chain today. I'm also going to be using our geometric shapes, some beautiful turquoise beads, and hopefully during the live we're going to finish a little handbag charm as well. So quite a few different techniques to show you today. Hopefully I'll get time to do it all whilst you're all here. We've got some amazing bundles over on the website as usual, so go and check that out. Kitty will be putting in some links into the comment box as well as we go. I will turn you down in a minute onto the mat and we'll have a little look. Good morning Helen, Sandra, Brenda, Michelle, Jan from a pleasant Weston-super-Mare today. Yeah, it's really nice here actually, quite warm, still a bit windy, but really nice and sunny. Good morning Ruth, hi Leslie, Marcia, Margaret, good morning Sarah, looking forward to this. Oh lovely, yeah, something a little bit different. So I have already done a video using the geometric shapes, and I'll show you a few different things that you can achieve with them. So they are fabricated shapes that you can link together using jump rings to start creating your own decorative chain. You can also use them to make really nice simple earrings as well. So just the shapes themselves are a real feature. We've got hearts and circles, look at these, making your own decorative chains using them. So there are other videos available. So if you go back over through the Facebook group on the website, and I'll show you how to find that in a minute, then you will have that there. But today I'm also going to show you not only using those as a feature for a handbag charm, so something a little bit different, but different ways that you can make your own chain as well. Good morning, Leanne. Hi, Michelle. Okay, so let's get going. Nearly 100 of you already. I think I was a couple of minutes late as well, sorry. I'm hoping we won't get distracted or disturbed because my window cleaner is due. He messaged yesterday and said, oh, I'll be there between 10:30 and 11. And I said, is there any chance you could do the other houses on the street first and come to me after? So I had to get everything ready and opened up for him coming. So hopefully we won't be disturbed, but hey ho, we'll see how we go. If it's not the dog, it's someone else, isn't it? So, okay, I'm going to turn you down. Let's have a little look at what we've got today. I will quickly just direct you over onto the website so that you can have a little look. Mina says, got my items in the basket ready to check out. Well done, you're ahead of the game this morning. Okay, let's see if I can tilt this so that you don't get the glare. So Facebook tutorials on the website, really nice and simple and easy to find, and there you will find all of our live videos and all the materials that we use. So today you can get your PDF download for £1.99 using your geometric shapes. So that will show you and teach you all the different links, how to link them together, some really nice little patterns for your earrings, chains, necklaces, bracelets. So that's a really nice one, and I'm going to do something a bit different with them today. Now let's talk about beads for a second. We've got some beautiful beads that I'm going to use today. Turquoise howlite. I've got the large nuggets. I've used that as the top feature in my handbag charm. They are a beautiful size, 25mm. I just think they're fantastic for that, and they've got beautiful facets on them as well. So it is a faceted nugget. And then I'm also using some of the rounds. And then really the tricky bit is you've just got to pick your favourite shapes. We do have 20% off the turquoise howlite beads. The little geometric shapes, there's lots of different ones. Circles, diamonds, drops, hearts, ovals, triangles, stars. You've got them all in various different sizes and finishes as well. We do have them in the silver, and we also have them in gold, but not very many. £1.50, you get various different amounts per shape and per size, but go and have a little look. Hopefully some of the chains and everything I'm going to show you will give you a closer look at some of those as well. So I've got a few samples that Kitty's made. Some really lovely necklaces. So you can see here she's used the ovals with some lovely beads in between. You can start creating your own chain and beautiful features, some of them down as a little pendant as well. There's a beautiful purple one here with some of the circles, and you can, don't know if you can hear it on there, but it's lovely to wear. Really nice circles, and embellishing them all with jump rings and beads. So obviously we're going to go into some loop turning as well today. And then this one is a real showstopper really. This actually has some beautiful turquoise chips on there as well, using the larger ovals, and I'm going to show you how to create these little droplets of chain as well. And of course I'm going to make the handbag charm. So I used the triangles in 2 different sizes because I thought they just gave a really beautiful shape. And if you look on the Facebook page on our little posts, I did put a little picture up of it on my handbag, which looks really lovely. And of course the turquoise beads are going to give you an amazing colour. So the sizes are very different. You can get some really nice little petite shapes. Let me just nudge this one into place so that you can make very simple but very effective jewellery. This necklace is one of my favourites. I've actually worn that a few times. But you can also use them to wire wrap in between. You could add some beads into there for a little bit more colour. You can start multi-layering them. This is one of the necklaces that we made on one of our previous videos. So I've actually got the 3 different sizes of the circles in there. And you can also use them in your macrame projects as well. So this is a really petite and delicate little feature that you could add onto your friendship bracelets. I was just going to macrame knot, so using my square knots on either side of this. And then you've got a really beautiful feature for in the middle. And again, you could wire wrap into that. You could add beads, all sorts of things. I've got lots of different marks on here. I'm going to have to give this a wash today, I think. Okay, so I'm going to start off with the lovely nuggets, and I'm going to create a wire wrapped loop. Because this is at the very top of my handbag charm, I wanted to wire wrap it just so that, because it is quite a heavy bead, I wanted to wire wrap it just so that I was going to get a really nice strong connection on it. I'm actually going to use a soft gauge wire for that. Hopefully from some of our bundles you will have a bit of wire, but you can also use head pins. I just find it easier using my wire. And you can see with these faceted nuggets, they've got the most beautiful cuts to them, really beautiful natural details as well. And I love the mixture of a sort of polished surface and that beautiful cut to the face, but then the rawness of the actual stone itself. So let's go for it. I like the veining in this one, so let's go for that one. Nice bit of marbling. Okay, so a wrapped loop. I did show you this the other day using a head pin, and I wanted to just show you. Sarah, are these the same chain as in the box from May? If it's these boxes you're talking about, then yes. Unfortunately, we don't have the box sets anymore, but it means that you get a bit of a pick and mix. So you can pick your favourites. Okay, so I've taken a length of 0.8mm wire, and I'm just going to create a wrapped loop. So I'm going to take it onto my pliers, wrap my wire around like so to create a loop, and I'm just going to straighten that up. So I'll just put my pliers into the loop and bring that wire down so that my loop wire is off to the side at 90 degrees. And then I'm going to attach on my clasp, she says, without a clasp to hand. I'm just going to use a little lobster claw clasp. You can use larger if you would like. I actually ended up, if I show you quickly my handbag strap, this is the handbag that I was using, and I just added a jump ring onto the bag connector, onto the bag ring. I added on that jump ring, and then that meant that I could open up my handbag charm and just pop it straight on, because it wasn't actually big enough to go over the ring itself. So by adding that on, it just gave me that little connector that you can put on there. You could use a larger lobster claw clasp, you could use our handbag charms. There's lots of different things that you could do, but first of all I need to connect on my clasp before we go any further, because this is going to be a wrapped loop, so it'll be closed. So I'm just going to open that up a little bit, just like you would with a jump ring, pop on my clasp, and now I know by doing this wrapped loop up at the top, this clasp isn't going to come off. So that's going to give me the strongest connection that I could achieve. And then I'm going to hold it flat like so with my round nose pliers, and then using my flat nose pliers I'm just going to take that extra bit of wire and I'm going to wrap it around that main body of the pin like so. I only like to do 2 or 3, I don't want too many of them, just to give me a nice little delicate finish. Use my cutters cut in as flush as I can go, and then just pinch that shut. Then I can add my bead on. I want that marbling to be at the top actually, so I'm going to pop it on this way. Get that wire all the way through. And you can see that that's now going to give me a really nice handmade finish up at the top as well. If I turn that over. And it's going to give me a nice little loop. We'll straighten this up afterwards because she's a little bit wonky. So if your loops are, you can see that it's just slightly off center, which will annoy me. So we'll straighten that up. Just a little nudge with the pliers. Could you join the diamond shapes at points and sides with smaller jump rings to make a 3D flower shape for Christmas? If you want them to be a rigid structure, so if, for example, let me get a few of them. I'm going to be using the diamonds in a minute, so I can show you as we go. If you want them to be more of a rigid structure, I would recommend wire wrapping them rather than using jump rings, because that way you would be able to secure them in place, and you can make some really lovely shapes with them. So if you wanted to wire wrap these together, look, you could get almost like a bit of a flower, but jump rings aren't going to hold them in place, so I would be wire wrapping these edges together. With these you could almost make a poinsettia shape, so you could have them like this. I would again use wire wrapping to put those in, so that, look at how pretty that's going to be. I would wire wrap the edges of them so that you can make sure they are going to stay in place. I'm just grabbing a few more out. But yeah, you could do anything with these. They're great for any crafting project. We've got really lovely stars, diamonds, triangles. Let me finish off this one, look, and you could have a little flower. So you'll see that one edge of them is also etched. So you have a really lovely, there we go, look how pretty that is. And just wire wrap the edges together. Some really lovely shapes, and you can see one side of them is etched, so it actually gives you a little bit of a sparkle as well. Okay, so finishing our wrapped loop, I've added on my larger bead. I'm not going to bother actually attaching this end to anything because I've got jump rings to add on. So it's strong connection up at the top. At the base, I'm just going to use my jump rings. Bringing that wire all the way around, rotating those pliers, so rotating your pliers so you can get a nice loop, straightening that up and pulling the wire off to the edge. So you always want your wire coming off at 90 degrees. And then I'm just going to hold again using my round nose pliers. I prefer to use my flat nose pliers to actually grab the wire and twist it. I just find that it gives me a much better and secure grip. Woo! Flying away. And you can see there that that's now my wrapped loop up at the top as well. Again, I'm just going to pop my pliers in, straighten it up ever so slightly, taking your flush cutters right down next to the bead, as near to it as you can get, and then just pinching in that little extra section. So there we go, that's our first bead. And then I'm going to start creating little bits of decorative chain. So on the one that I have already made, I was using the diamonds. So I actually wanted to sit and layer some of these together. So I've got larger diamonds with smaller ones in the middle. Obviously you could do this with your circles, your stars, your hearts, pick any of them that you like. I think I've run out of my larger diamonds now. Yes. Maybe let's add on, will this go into the bottom? Let's put a little drop on the bottom, just to give it a lovely little finish. And then I might even be able to, will this one fit inside here? Yeah, let's tear that one onto the bottom, just so that we've got some nice different shapes. So you can play around with them, you can move them around. Obviously nothing is secure, you can have a little play. And then I'm just going to use some little jump rings to connect them on together as well. Now I've got my other turquoise beads here to add some of my droplets. I've got 3 different sizes. Teeny tiny beautiful little ones to add in a little bit of texture. And then let's go for some of our larger rounds. Thank you all. I knew it was going to be one of these disruptive days. Oh dear. Rightio. So we're going to now create our drops. So I'm going to be using some head pins. Belle's excited about it. I'm going to use some head pins. Curly, shh, come here. Sorry, guys. Going to be using our head pins to create the little drops. So I'm just going to bend these to 90 degrees. I tend to make all of them first. So I will bend them all, then cut them all, and then add them all on at the same time. So I've actually used one of my medium-sized turquoise beads to actually go into the centre. I just want to give it a bit of dimension. Remember that these are going to be moving around. So my smallest ones are just the 3 mils. That will just give me a little bit of colour. My 6 mils and my 8 mils are going to give me more of that movement. So I've got 3 of my 6 mils to go in the middle. The larger 8 mils I'm going to put on the bottom as some little charms. So I'm just going to bend them all to 90 degrees. Earl, everyone's replying to you. He has to have his moment, doesn't he? Can't just let me get on with it. Okay, so I'm going to add my 3 mils onto my smaller ones, of which I'm going to need 3. Now, if the 3 mil, adding them onto your head pins are too small for you to bend using your fingers, you can, of course, use your pliers. So take your pliers in just above the bead and bend the pin to 90 degrees. So it will go above the plier, but that's okay. If obviously your fingers aren't quite strong enough to be able to put them on and bend it with your fingers. This is why I always have cracked nails up at the top, because I always end up using my nails. I'm naughty. Okay, so let's create the loops first of all, and then we'll start attaching them on. I'm also going to show you a completely different way to use your head pins to make your own chain. A really nice decorative way of doing it. And I think when you are using beads like these, you really want to showcase them. So it's all about the colour and showcasing, it might be the cuts, the facets, like I said with our nuggets. So I'm cutting and leaving 1 centimetre, like so. Pin up to the ceiling, holding that wire flush on my pliers, and just nice little movements and rotations to create those loops. And I'm going to make sure that these are completely closed because I'm going to be attaching them to jump rings with my larger ones. With my smaller ones, I'm not going to bother closing them so much because I am going to use those to attach onto the geometric shapes. So the geometric shapes themselves are a complete solid shape. There is no connection in them. So you will need to add on your jump rings. There's no split in these, so they're not rings. They are going to be your solid shape, hence using the jump rings to attach them on. And then with my smaller ones, the smaller the bead, the trickier it can be sometimes. But again, I'm just holding my thumb down at the base. I'm actually almost pushing with my thumb to just encourage that movement round. Because they are so small, it's a little bit harder to hold. See that I'm opening it up and allowing a bit more visual space rather than just holding it in my hand. And I'm leaving a little bit more than 1 centimetre just to give me that bit to play with. So kind of start off that section. I'm then rotating it round so that I can see, and I'm almost just pushing the bead in there as well, just to encourage that loop to come round and close. So adapt the way that you hold your beads for the sizes, you know, just whatever works for you. There is no right or wrong. So long as you end up with a loop, how you do it is entirely up to you. And I just find with these smaller beads, it just helps to open it up and encourage it all the way down, like so. Okay, so I'm going to forget my larger ones for now. Let's start connecting these all on. I'm going to be using my jump rings. Probably had your fill of jump rings this week. We've had quite a bit of chain mail. So I'm just going to twist it open. And onto here, I'm going to add on both of my diamonds, etched side forward on both of those. In fact, I'm going to add my bead first because I want that to be the main feature at the front. adding on my bead, adding on my diamonds, and then I'm going to add that on, and just make sure you're doing it the right way round. So my clasp at the front is facing backwards, which will mean that that will attach onto my handbag, giving this the front of the charm. Even just like that, it's really pretty. I just think the colours are absolutely beautiful, and I love the shapes. And of course your 6mm bead just sits perfectly inside your little diamond. So I'm then going to attach on the next set using another jump ring. Open these up, and then same format as before. Bead first, etched side of your diamonds forward with both of these, and then that's going to attach on to the larger one above it, like so. And remember, we don't just have the diamonds. Check out the website, there are so many different shapes. It's almost got like quite a native look there, hasn't it, as well, with all those geometric shapes and the turquoise, quite Native American. I think it looks absolutely beautiful. And then, of course, because I ran out of my larger diamond, I'm going to go for the bottom one here. There are so many different colours you could add in. You could add a tassel onto the bottom as well. Oh, Dorothy's saying, sorry I'm late to the party, got landscapers and tilers. My madhouse today. Dorothy, I feel your pain. We had all the workers here last week, so it's crazy, isn't it? But I'm glad you've managed to find a quiet little corner and escape with us. Lots of you are asking Kitty about things for Friday as well. Oh, Natalie, hope your job interview went okay yesterday. Think you've got a few more coming. Everybody wishing you luck. I love that we all interact with everything here. I think we have now all been together for 18 weeks. If you are new to some of the videos as well, then hello and welcome. We've been doing these every day for 18 weeks. And I think we've all got to know each other very well, actually. I know some of you even interact outside of the groups and the videos. You've created a nice little beading community, which I really love. Ooh, little drop down there facing the wrong way. So for your jewellery and such like, it's going to be a little bit harder. You'll need to attach in, like these little links in the bottom, of course, are going to move around for your jewellery when you're wearing them. But for something like your handbag charm, a droplet like this is perfect. I'm actually going to take out that little oval one because you can't even see it. For your handbag charm, of course, gravity is just going to hang it all the time. So it's just going to hang off of your bag. I'm going to take off that oval because it's a waste and I can't see it. Could have put a smaller bead on there, I guess. But that's better. And now this one. Go the right way. I'm trying to do everything left-handed today. I don't know why. There we go. Okay, so I'm now also going to add on, just because I think it needs a little bit more movement, my smaller beads onto my smallest diamond. So I'm going to take my 3mm and I'm going to connect these on. So opening this up, this will also give these shapes a little bit more weight and stop them rotating so much. So just by hanging that bead on there, everything kind of has a function. Not only is it decorative, there we go, that just fills in that little gap. Not only, of course, is it decorative and gives a nice feature, but by adding on a weight onto the bottom of it, of course, it's going to pull that down and hopefully keep it into place while it's being worn as well. So if something isn't quite working, or you just sometimes need to tweak your design ever so slightly, just to enable that to work. Okay, so now that is going to keep all of those shapes in place. And then I'm going to do the same with this bottom one because the teardrop does not want to sit. So let's add some charms onto the bottom. Of course, that is also going to give us a really nice decorative feature. I'll use the larger 8mm. Again, we'll use our head pins too. I'm going to add on, I think we'll just do one actually of our 8mm because that shape down there is quite delicate. On the one that I made yesterday, I actually added a whole cluster of beads, all 3 sizes, and I just added them onto a jump ring. But here, I think I'm just going to do the one. and we'll see how that looks. Ooh. And remember, with all of these, it's just playing around with these little shapes. I think it's why I absolutely love the shapes. Playing around with them, having a bit of fun. If something doesn't work, take it off, start again. Okay, there we go. So there's our handbag charm. I think it's really pretty, very delicate. Let's move this one around the right way. And you've got some really beautiful shapes in there, very on trend as well. The geometric shapes and geometric, wallpaper and home styling and in fashion, even in prints, is very popular at the moment. So all of those larger beads are going to allow that to hang beautifully onto your bag. And then, like I said, just with mine, you'll find that you get the little connections, or if you've got a zip, you can just add a jump ring onto that loop, and that will be what your lobster claw clasp will attach onto. Okay, so that's your geometric shapes and a little handbag charm. What I also wanted to show you was a little decorative way of making chain using your head pins and any shape of bead. You could do this, but of course, like I said, when you've got beads as beautiful as these, just really want to showcase them and make them look very attractive. So simple techniques are going to allow you to do that. So I'm actually going to make chain out of just our head pins. So I'm going to select some of my straighter pins. You can, of course, straighten them out using your pliers as well, but just for time, let's do these. Okay, so I'm going to add a bead onto my head pin. And I'm going to create a loop right up at the top. Now, you might have seen me do earrings like this before. I'm going to create a loop right up at the top, so I'm not even bending it. Because it's up at the top, it's more of a P than an I now. So I'm just going to pop my pliers into there and twist it so that that loop is now sitting proudly straight above my bead. And I'm going to make sure that it's completely closed, like so. What we'll then do is add another bead onto a head pin, and I'm going to put it through this pin here. And I'm going to do exactly the same thing. Up at the top, creating that loop, straightening it up. And I'm going to do this a few times over, and you will start to see the little chain that we can make. And it gives you such amazing shapes and a really lovely finish. It's such a nice way of doing a decorative chain with the most basic of materials, and that's why using a real amazing bead like this is going to give you a fabulous finish. Now, you could, of course, do some of these pins separately and link them on afterwards, but I just find that this is the easiest way to achieve it quite quickly. And then you don't need to worry about making your loops and then opening them up afterwards. I'm just going to add on one more. So if you've got really special beads, nice natural beads, semi-precious, maybe some really amazing crystals, of course you could even use, your leftover beads if you've got a bit of a bead soup going on. But you want them to be particularly special, because with this, the technique is just so raw, it's so exposed that you want to be able to use a really nice set of beads just to showcase it. And look at this beautiful texture and dimension that we get. Could you give us a close-up of Kitty's necklaces, please? Yes, of course I can. I'll show you all of those at the end again. So can you see how you can now achieve this beautiful sort of zigzag pattern just by using the lovely beads as well? So simple. And what that will do, the necklace that I had wanted to show you where Kitty has mixed in the pearls and her turquoise, you can achieve these lovely little dimensional bits of chain. Oh, hang on. That just hang from some of your shapes. So it's going to give you a really lovely, different finish as well. And it's just a nice way to showcase beads very simply. Cecil says this would be a stunning earring. Yeah, it really would. You could make anything with them. Obviously, your handbag charms. You could do anything. Missed most of this. My 94 years young needed me. Was there a code for checkout? Having to go again. Angela, there is 20% off of the turquoise beads today on the website. No code at checkout. It's already done for you. And then, of course, your geometric shapes are in there as well. So with Kitty's necklaces, she's got here some beautiful ovals. So hopefully that will give you another little technique to be able to use with your turquoise beads as well. Your geometric shapes, so this is actually a lariat, so no clasp in here at all. It's just a long necklace that of course you could double over. Try just adding in some dimension. When you've got these longer necklaces, it's really nice to be able to add in the dimension and movement, hence doing little sections of chain like this as well. With the ovals, little bit of chain obviously up at the top with your clasp just to connect that down. It's going to get you the most out of some of your beads. So you can connect your geometric shapes with beads in between. Kitty's got wrapped loops in between here, so I wanted to show you those as well. And then, of course, down into a lovely little droplet. You've got some huge big crystals in here, rondelles, as well as our Stardust spacer beads. And then adding on charms. So just like I did at the bottom of my handbag charm, again, adding on that movement, use the geometric shapes to give you a decorative chain, but then add in some dimension, colour, texture, and of course that movement as well. This is a beautiful necklace, looks really lovely on. Obviously would go with any neckline. And again, just attached in between with beads and jump rings. So it's really nice and simple. Is there anything else that anybody would like to see? I'll take you through some of these samples again as well for those of you who missed it at the beginning. So our geometric shapes have been a heavy feature today. The ovals, obviously you could use hearts in between these. I'm going to turn this one into a little friendship bracelet just with some macrame. I've seen so many bracelets like these, and actually sometimes they can cost a fortune depending on where you're getting them from, all because of little connectors like these. So they're not always that easy to source. Obviously we've got lots of different shapes as well. Hearts, circles, diamonds, stars. So just connecting them together to give you that fabricated chain look, but of course you're making them. I think the stars are beautiful as earrings as well. Very simple shapes will make some lovely pieces. And like I said, you can wire wrap in between them. You could add in some beads, obviously add them into your jewellery. I love the little hearts as earrings. I think they're really lovely. So whether you are combining them together with beads, with jump rings, whatever it may be, I love using the triangles and linking those together up at the top. I think that's probably one of my favourite shape combinations to be able to make really lovely necklaces. And of course you could even put drops in between. You could add extra beads onto them. So many different takes. I think making your own chain is something that's really handy to be able to do. And of course if you are selling your pieces, then it's going to just give you that little bit something different and extra as well. Oh yes, Kitty's saying you could brick stitch around them as well. We had some earrings. Kitty, have you done the brick stitch earrings as a video? I'm not sure. Looks like bunting. Yeah, maybe that's why I like it, Camille. You can use them for brick stitch. So brick stitch will go all the way around the outside with your seed beads. So that'll give you a really lovely finish. How do you join the chain with the beads that you just made? How do I join the chain with the beads I've just made? Do you mean... Oh, do you mean this one? Do you mean this one, Sandra? How am I attaching the beads on? I'm not sure. Let me know and I'll stick around and then I'll show you which technique you would like another look on. Janet, what gauge wire is best for the wrapping and for shapes, please? So I used a 0.8 for my larger beads. You could probably use a 0.5. 0.8 I've got here. I wouldn't go any thicker than that because it's just going to be too hard and it's just going to give you too much of a bulky look. You can, of course, just use your head and eye pins as well. If you've got our ball end head pins, they are a really nice soft wire, soft enough and long enough to be able to do your wrap loops with as well. But if you're going to do it, I would say 0.5, 0.8 would be perfect. Let me see if I've got any other questions. Are they big enough to seed beads around and in? Yes, Diane, they are. Just like brick, you could use brick stitch for that. Some more great ideas. Thank you, Annie. Sandra, just waiting to hear back from you as to what you would like me to see with the chain. I'm not sure. Do you mean, oh, hang on. Or do you mean attaching the chain onto these? It's just with a jump ring. So just like I did attaching, oh yes, that was the one I meant. If you make a necklace, how do you join the ends? Let me show you. Turn you back down. This one, I'm guessing. Is this the one? So if you've got your clasp up at the top, let's have a little look. So all of your beads are going to sit at the far side. So you will always have your jump ring up at the top here, or your loop, I should say, sorry. So all you will need to do is attach on a jump ring and your clasp. Let me grab a little clasp here. Make sure that your loop is nice and closed up at the top. You could go straight on, but I find that attaching a jump ring on first of all actually helps all the beads sit in place and it stops it from twisting so much. So just take a jump ring, go through your loop, add on your clasp, and on the other end of your necklace, because of course you will just... So you see how now my clasp isn't going to interfere with how the beads actually sit. So these are obviously a little bit larger. I would use a smaller jump ring because all of your beads are just continuously going to go around. So it actually curves really nicely as a necklace when you've got it on. Obviously, it's a little bit more rigid, jagged, but it will curve all the way around. So you will just continually add your beads and add your head pins together until you get to the other side, and you will finish with a jump ring. But obviously it will give you, how do you attach the other end? So the other end will be exactly the same way because you'll have your pins. So you'll just keep on adding. Obviously down here now, I need to add on, let me just grab another bead. Where's my pins? So on this end, you're going to have to go the other way round. So you'll attach on a second one so that you can add your jump ring and your clasp. To just add on one more. In fact, I could probably even do it. Let's do it with an eye pin. Mine are too small. My head pins are too small. I was going to cut off and do another connector for you, but let's do it on an eye pin. Hi Sarah, thanks, but I meant wrapping the geometric shapes like the diamond you showed us, not hanging the loop. Oh, for the gauged wire, I would be using a 0.3 or 0.4. because you're going to need it to be really nice and small and delicate. I probably have some to hand, actually. Yeah, I've got a silver one to hand. So on your reverse side, just make a little eye pin or get an eye pin. You could use your leftovers. Adding that on to your final bead. Like so, looping that in, and on this end you could then put your jump ring and then your clasp. Okay, so it will give you that one extra connection. Obviously, I didn't end up using my head pin. I've used a different eye pin, so it is a different length. But that would be a really nice finish for that one. Making your shapes like I showed you at the very beginning. So if you want to go for things like making a little flower, if you give me 1 second, I will just grab my gauged wire. So I've got a 0.3 here. That would do cut a little bit off. And then you're just going to take your wire, so give yourself a nice little tail, wrap it around your shape first of all, sit it out on your mat so that you can see where you need them to be connected. So in this case, it's going to be in the middle. You can obviously try and keep it as tight as possible. You could use a coloured wire so that that would be a nice feature, or of course with something like this, using my silver shapes, the silver wire is completely going to be hidden. Pinch that together. I'm just going to squidge those together as well, just to get a bit of a neater finish. And then you'll add in your other wire, your other shape, sorry. Hold them in place and then use this wire to just bind them together. And you'll need to use individual pieces, unless you then wanted to wire wrap in the middle. Try and keep the kinks out of this wire, so you'll see that I'm pulling it through. When you get to that stage, just straighten it up so that you lessen the amount of kinks that you've got. So you can bind them together like that. Oh look, they're like little fairy wings or butterfly wings. They would be really cute. If you want to use one continuous length of wire, you could now just move down to the centre and then up to the side. I'm hoping if I pull that tightly, yeah, that keeps it nice and hidden. And then you can add your next one on. Add that into here. Bind it round. So this will give us a nice little flower. You could then wire wrap in between. You could add beads into them. There's lots of different things you can do. And you can see, obviously I need to tighten that one up and do a bit more, but you can see that that's then going to give you a rigid shape. So you could then be doing things like your flowers. You could make like your poinsettia flowers with some of the diamonds. Hopefully, guys, that's everything that you needed. Do let me know if there's anything else just quickly before I go. Just received my gift boxes, Lydia bracelet and my seed beads. Thank you, Simon and lovely crew at the warehouse. They have been working hard. We have had phenomenally busy months, and of course it's not been easy. They were doing split shifts, keeping everybody separate. They've done an amazing job of keeping everybody safe, and also getting all your orders out nice and quickly as well. Question, could you make a centre point to necklace by putting the centre beads into a V shape, joining wire to two sections of beads and chain? Hope that makes sense. Yes, I think you mean bringing them down into the middle. Yeah, you can, Lorna. You can do absolutely anything with these shapes. It's really lovely. Good morning, everyone. I'm late today. My sister has been on the phone and she can talk for Scotland. Betty. Oh, I love it. I hope you had a good old catch up. And of course, this will be on the Facebook page forever, so you can go back and have a little look. Just received my beaded lace package. Yay, says Susan. Good grief, beaded lace was only on, was that Monday, Sunday? Wow, they really are getting the orders out nice and quick. Can you answer my question about knotted head pins? I don't know what your question was. Let me go and find it. Andrea. Hold on, I'm just scrolling through. Oh, here we go. Hi, Sarah. Would you be able to give any tips on doing a knotted head pin? Can't seem to get mine nice and tight, and they would work in this design. Yeah, why don't we get Kitty to add that onto her Q&A and lots of techniques on Friday. So if you join Kitty tomorrow, I'm not sure what she's doing tomorrow. Kitty, what are you doing tomorrow on Thursday? It's not in my diary, but it will be on the events on the pages. Q&A session on Friday. So any techniques that you are struggling with, any extra bits and pieces that you would like to see, anything that you are struggling with, any previous videos you'd like in a bit more detail, let us know, comment on the videos, send us questions on the groups, on the Facebook page, by email. It doesn't matter how you get in touch, Kitty will compile that little list And on Friday at 10 o'clock, Kitty will be doing a Q&A and she'll show you all of these different bits and pieces. I will be with you. I don't think I'm now with you until the week after next. I have a lot of TV shows coming up. But Kitty will be keeping you right. Oh, tomorrow, exciting. Knitting with the yarn that we have just... Do you mean you've just got in? So knitting tomorrow, something very, very different. Can't wait to see. Enjoy the rest of your day, guys. I will see you next week at some point. I can't remember which day I'm back, I'm sorry. But keep an eye on the events on the Facebook pages. Hope you learnt lots of different techniques from today. And I managed to get most of your questions answered as well. Love to you all. Join Kitty tomorrow. I'll be answering in the background, saying hello to you all. Thank you, Sarah. Lovely tutorial. I'm going to have fun with these geometric shapes when they arrive. And by the sounds of it, they'll be there pretty soon too. I'm so glad you enjoyed it. And I will see you all soon. Take care, everyone. Bye.